Hello and welcome back to the Without the Bank podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it as always. Hey, before I get started today on the podcast, I just want you guys to know that we are doing a massive Christmas special on the book. And so if you have not gotten the book yet, or if you have family members that are going to want the book for Christmas, or you're looking for Christmas ideas, you can go to withoutthebank.com, grab the bundle, which is Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, both of my books, Life Without the Bank and Farming Without the Bank, and you get $10 off that bundle. Plus, we are giving away both of my audiobooks for free if you are going to buy the books. So go ahead, grab the books, and it's like the best deal ever. I've never done a deal like that. But it is super, super nice to have the audiobooks because guess what? You can just forward them on and you can share them. So if you are looking for Christmas gift ideas and listening to this immediately, go and grab that deal. And then you can give them away. You know, people need to read. People need to read more. And they need to pay attention to their finances. And especially with what is happening in the economy right now, with the stock market tanking, everything I have listened to in the last week or so has said this is not the bottom of the market. The market is going to fall even further. People are sick and tired of putting their money there. They are sick and tired of not having access to money. Right now, people need access to those 401ks so they can buy groceries, for heaven's sakes. And we have a 10% penalty to do that. Government created the problem. Now government is going to have a 10% penalty when we need to access our money. Absolutely insane to me. Absolutely insane. However, that is what is happening right now. And so do we want to continue to put our money into a system that ties it up, does not allow us to use it for cash flow purposes? We can't create cash flow with it if it is sitting in a 401k. We don't have access to it without penalty. It's subject to risk. It is literally gambling, my friends. All right, go grab the books, share that with your friends and family. Today, let's talk about some common questions that I have been getting recently, maybe from people that haven't read the book, or people that have read the book and it's something I maybe don't go over in the book, or you have read the book and you're sharing it with your family. And guess what? They have questions and you maybe don't know how to answer those questions. One of the questions that I have gotten a couple of times now in the last week is, what happens to the death benefit if I die at year 2? What happens to the death benefit if I die 3 days after I have the policy? And so I kind of find this to not necessarily be a silly question, but an interesting question, because if you buy term insurance and you give them money and you have your insurance, do you also ask that question? It seems like we think whole life acts differently than term insurance. Either way, it is life insurance. The day that you pay for your policy, your coverage is bound, which means you are insured. If you pay for your coverage and you walk out of that office and you get hit by a truck, your coverage was bound and that policy will pay. Now, there is what is called a contestability period. And as far as I know, every single company has those. That means that in the first 2 years of your policy, should you pass away, the insurance company has the right to contest, which only means we're going to most likely pull some extra medical records just to make sure that you did not lie on your application. Now, this is why it is super important to be honest on your application, Because if you die in the first 2 years and they go pull medical records and it shows that, yep, you were a tobacco user, you were a drug user, you did have some kind of autoimmune or some kind of knowledge of a disease that you did not tell the insurance company about, they can deny the claim. And then they would pay your family back all the premiums that you've already paid. Okay? So they try not to do that, but they can do that. And I've heard of cases where they have done that because we've lied about drug use and then we died of an overdose within 2 years of the policy. And guess what? That was not, the insurance company would have probably just even denied that regardless because of the fact that there was drug use there. Okay. With all that being said, the second that you pay your premium, you have bound coverage. Now, you can put money down on an application. So if we're taking an application on you, you can give us the premium amount and they will cover up to, I believe it's $300,000 of death benefit. So if you pass away during the application part of the application period, if you pass away during the application period, you are actually covered for a certain amount as well. Money has to come in with the application. I typically do not do that. Even though I've had a very close call, I have a client who decided not to do insurance on his father, but his dad passed away while his application was in process. And so that was a close call. It can happen. It was a freak accident that dad passed away. And so there are a lot of agents that do that. Some agents do that not to secure coverage for you, but to secure you as a client. I'm not that worried about it. I'm not going to take money from somebody. And honestly, for me, I would not give somebody money that I just met on the internet and read a book. We have to be able to develop some trust, and that does not come in an hour. So I wouldn't do it, so I don't expect you guys to do it. However, if it's something that is a concern, I'm happy to do it for you. And if you are trustworthy of me, then yeah, absolutely happy to do that. So coverage is, you have immediate coverage. The other question that people are asking a lot is, do I get cash value and the death benefit upon death, or do my heirs get the death benefit and the cash value? And I've gone over this a couple of times, so this is just going to be really, really quick. No, the cash value is a portion of the death benefit that they allow you to use while you're alive. Now, that is not the technical wording for it, but that is how I'm going to explain it because it is easier to understand. It is a portion of the death benefit that you are allowed to use while you're alive. So that is why when you pass away, the cash value is the loan. If you have a loan, that is taken out of the death benefit because they allowed you to use a portion of that while you're alive. There's a huge misconception in the insurance world that whole life is bad because you don't get to use your family doesn't get cash value and death benefit. Okay? I've said this before. Do you get the equity in your home and the sale of your home? Do you get both of those two things? No. So the insurance companies are allowing you to use it while you're alive. The other question that I get a lot is, how do we pay premiums? You can pay your premium annually, monthly, quarterly, or semi-annual. You can divide it up however you want. Now, there are fees if you pay quarterly, semi-annual, or monthly. If you do anything besides annual, there are going to be fees to pay slower. And the reason why is because, again, they're going to give you a death benefit if you pass away and they needed to collect that insurance money, or that premium, sorry, not insurance money. And so, yes, there are going to be fees to do that. The paid up additions portion of the policy can be paid throughout a 12-month period of time with the companies that I use. Not all companies are the same. You can pay it over a 12-month period of time. You can decide to go from monthly to quarterly to annually within the year with my company that I use most of the time, which is OneAmerica. They are unbelievably flexible. I hope to God that they never change that, because of the fact that there is not another company out there that does that. I work with about 4 or 5 of them, and the other companies are like, okay, it's the beginning of your policy year. How do you want to pay this year? And if you are going to come into some money, they won't let you pay that up and go from monthly to annually. OneAmerica will allow you to do that. And it's a lot of work for them to figure that out. So I'm super grateful that they allow that. But we can also, if we set the policy up and we have extra money for year 1, we can also add that over 12 months. So the premium is super, super flexible. You guys have heard me say there's a minimum premium as well that you can pay. If you set your premium up for $10,000 or $20,000 a year, there's also a minimum that has to be paid. And that's typically the way I structure my policies is going to be half of the maximum. So if your max is 20, your minimum's going to be 10. If your max is 10, it's going to be 5, okay? But all of that is super, super flexible. So don't think, oh my gosh, I don't have the full premium today, I can't start. No, you can. You can start monthly. It's going to give you slower access to cash value. You're not going to have access to cash value except a little bit every month. That adds up. So at the end of the year, you might have more. You're obviously going to have more cash value. But you want to make sure if you need to get started, we can get started knowing that, we might have an influx of money throughout the year. You know, maybe I'm a contractor and winter is my slow months and summer is my busy months. And so I'm going to have more coming in. Well, you can still start the policy now. You can pay the minimum and add the rest later. You can pay it monthly. You can put the maximum in, add extra later throughout the 12 months. It doesn't matter. But again, that's my company that I work with mainly because of the fact that they're flexible. And a lot of people will say, well, why do you work with OneAmerica? Why don't you work with a bigger company? Because the bigger companies are not as easy to work with. Financially, it's just as strong as every other company, but they have more flexibility than those bigger companies. They have less stringent rules on the PUA, filling that up, all that good stuff. So those are just 3 of the kind of common questions I've been getting asked a lot lately. So I wanted to address them, make sure that you guys understand that. So you're not sitting there saying, oh, I can't start because I don't understand everything. This is all stuff we go over in our 1.5-hour meeting after you read the book. So please don't hesitate to schedule that appointment if you've read the book, because these are things that we talk about. How are we going to get started? Where are we going to start? How does it work? How is the policy structured? All that good stuff. So I hope that helped answer some questions for you or people that you're talking to. As always, if you guys need anything from me, just email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. I am happy to help you. But otherwise, that's all I got for you today. I am done. You guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your week, and we'll see you in the next podcast.